Now is what is my favorite part of the evening, where I sort of sit back and relax and sort of take in all the learning. In fact, I would run these sessions if nobody turned up and it was just me and Steve here, because I just get to sort of have a private tuition session and learn so much. So yeah, so I really love it. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you Steve Jensen, who's going to be talking tonight about start selling more online via Zoom. I was having a chat with Steve before we came on, and just asking how business was during this lockdown period, because he's down in New South Wales. And his comment was that, that he'd actually started with his business moving online about 3 years ago. So for many businesses over the past year, this has been a mad scramble to get online and think, what do I do and how do I do it? And man, I'm a face-to-face salesman. I remember talking to someone who was in the insurance game, said, I could never do this on Zoom. I'm face-to-face. You can't make sales on Zoom. And I think it was only about 4 or 5 months later, I asked him how it's all going. He said, oh, I'm doing a whole lot of meetings on Zoom now. So it's interesting how things change. And I think sort of, with where we are in the world now, not only is it a necessity to think about how you work with people on Zoom, it's now some people's preference. So, people are quite used to just saying, hey, let's just jump on a Zoom call together. So, and this is clients and prospective clients. They don't want to travel and go and get coffees and all that sort of thing. They're just happy to jump onto a Zoom meeting. So that's why it's really timely tonight to have Steve to come and talk to us about this particular topic. So if you don't know Steve, he is the CEO and founder of Impact Training Corporation, and he really specializes in teaching people cutting-edge sales, communication, leadership, and public speaking skills. If you look at him, he's very buff. He's been in the fitness industry for a long time, so he looks fantastic. But not only does he look fantastic, he helped a whole lot of businesses in that fitness industry perform fantastically as well too. So he was their go-to person to help them with their business. He got accolades and awards in that industry as well too. So he is a sought-after speaker. He is an industry expert in sales and business. And it is my great pleasure to welcome him along. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Thanks, Nick. Terrific. Oh, mate, I've got a stack of notes of all those good applications you got now. As I've got older, I've become a bit of a geek, but I'm not as good as you. My goodness, I'm going to have a bit of a play there. So thanks very much. I can go now.
You tell that I procrastinate a lot because I have to come up with these every week.
You're a legend. Well, Julie, Joan, Ron, and Peter, I'm going to do my very best to throw out to you and help you with your transitions and so forth. And I've only got a short period of time, but I'll do my very best to actually give you some ideas. And I've got some tools that I can share with you too, if you want, along the way. I'll digress here for a few moments. I look right in the middle of my screen, and there's a fella called Steve Brossman. Let me just tell you a little story before I get any further. We go back a long, long way. And I present in lots of conferences, and same with Steve and so forth. And one day I got a friend of mine to actually introduce me to quite a large audience at the entertainment center, at the conference center. Anyway, this person's a guy's friend of both of us. And you always get a peer to introduce you. So we had a big audience and so forth. And they said, blah, 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 all the lovely words. And they say, let's give a big welcome to Steve Brossman. And I'm going, what the hell? And they introduced Steve as me. And it was before I got down into the trade show where we had all our booths and stuff like that, they changed the Impact Training sign to the Steve Brossman stand. And it's quite funny, and I've never left it down. But Steve is a close friend of mine. And one of the reasons that I got onto Zoom was because we had a coffee down at Balmoral Beach one morning. And he was telling me about this thing called Zoom. And who would have thought that now, from a layman to about 4 or 5 years ago, that we're now teaching people how to use it. So, Steve, thank you for the introduction, and great to see you here. This man is a superstar. Selling. It's a dirty word, or is it a necessity? In my world, it's actually the art of conversation to help people make great decisions. Doesn't matter what way you do it, but it has to be done with the authenticity and integrity. However, and I'm going to throw this out to you from the get-go, if you haven't adjusted your sales process, your sales system, in the last 6 to 12 months, it's dated. So many people say, oh, I used to do this. And Nik said it earlier. He said, oh, look, you know, a belly to belly and all that sort of jazz. And by the way, you're still got to adjust your belly to belly too. But our consumer has become conditioned to buy online. We've been locked up. We can't do anything. We're having entertainment and we've become lazy. The consumer has become lazy because they want everything immediately. A good old happy phones that we have to use every day has become the norm. And if you can't actually give the customer what they want the way they want it, you're going to go backwards. It's no longer staying in the same. You either make the change or be disappointed. So as we progressed, and I was a non-tech person, quite phobic about it, I went down and I engaged in lots of training and so forth. And I got quite interested in how to streamline things. My job over the last 30 odd years is to set trends and processes which are easily transferable, that empower people to have a seamless sales system combined with soft skills. So I had to make sure that we got on board with this online component. So we shifted our process to make sure that it was transferable online. If you're not prepared to do the work and get the things in place, I'll give you up front. If you're presenting sales online, it is unforgiving. You're not going to get a second and third chance for your follow-up and so forth. It's gone. If your process requires follow-up, make sure you get permission. So I just want to make sure you're on the same page because this works. We trialed it in 16 sites as we first created the process to perfect it. And then now we utilize it with all of our inner circle clients. And we also run a program now of 7 weeks to actually get people to build the process so they can present. So it's tried and proven. We've had 100% success rate in what I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you little bits and pieces along the way. So before we go any further, I want you to go to your chat box. You're very clever in the chat box. I want you to type in now what you think the hardest thing that you think you would have to do to be successful in selling online. So just type in the chat box. What do you think would be the hardest thing to pivot to or to learn to be successful on selling online? Exposure. Okay, that will be in a marketing component, but guess what? We've got a lead. We're now going to present. So you've got the lead, you're going to flick him onto a Zoom, and now you're going to present your solution. What do you think would be the hardest thing that you'll come up with to actually get someone to buy online? Let's go to the chat box. What do you think? I want you to think about it. I'm not going to go any further until I get some responses. So there you go. Come on. Body language? Nice. Well done, Con. That is one of the things we'll talk about today. Body language is something that we take for granted when we're belly to belly. What's another thing? Customer turning up. Yeah, that's going to be in the discovery call section. Shaking on the deal. So yes, making sure that we buy. And by the way, I'll show you a thing called a chat box close today to make sure you can take that away and play with it. It works a treat. Okay, so there's a bit of the technology. We're going to start with that. Engaging with the customer, boom. Good. These are areas where there's no training and we've got to hit and miss. Building trust. Oh, well done, Peter. And by the way, you might want to write this down before we get any further. Get your trusty pen out. Here's a statement. We can only move at the speed of trust. We can only move at the speed of trust. So if you're flying through your Zoom presentation or any presentation really quickly because you're so confident, competent, and they don't trust you, you have hit a roadblock before you get to close. Focus on their needs. Okay, we'll talk about the needs analysis as well today. These are great feedback. Building a rapport. Yes. How do you do that online? I'll show you a big mistake that people make so we can play. Okay, we've got lots of things and I'm going to cover all those things. So thank you for doing that. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to come on and off screen. So it's not just going to be yakking away. And so we can play the game. Here we go. Via Zoom, and I've used Zoom because I'm not very good at Teams and I'm not good at the good old Google spot. So do what you know how to do. So Steve Brossman told me to get on Zoom, so that's why I'm here. Now, there's a lucky door prize. For those that stay today, there is a lucky door prize, and I'm going to be giving away my whole complete program of the Sales Authority Implementation Program. It's an all-done-for-you program on how to be up to date with all the new nuances of selling in the art of professional communications. It goes to the biology of selling, gives you the tools, and it goes you right to the close. So the person that sticks around at the very end will go in the draw, and they will receive that program. And also for some of you, I'll also be throwing in an implementation session for today. So stick around, and we're going to give it away for nothing. Has a little quiz and also a booklet in there with a workbook. And if you finish it, we'll be sending you a certificate as well. So put on your wall. Question is technology. The first thing, if you're going to sell online, is you've got to have the equipment. If you think your cam on your computer is going to cut it, and making sure that your process that you use belly to belly is going to work, I'll say again, you'll be disappointed. There are new skills that you need to hybrid. Please write this down. It's about a 30 to 35% tilt. Yeah, it's not 5%. It's not a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you can just build relationships. And that's Fred Flintstone now. And if you want to be successful in doing this, and you've got to get the equipment, and you've got to practice using it. Get the equipment and practice using it. Make sure I'm on speaker view, as I'm going to look like part of the Partridge family. You've got to get the equipment and you've got to practice doing it. Do not say, Dr. J gave me this, we're going to rock and roll, and you'll go, it's a nightmare. There is no one that's any good at anything that doesn't do significant amount of practice. So putting this into perspective, if you want the biggest bang for buck, it's conversion. Now, someone said getting the lead to engagement. That's not my job. You get the experts in the marketing game. You get them to make sure they turn up. Well, that's part of the sales game. But once you get them and you get the opportunity to ask the good questions, connect, the biggest bang for buck is your conversion. Showing up conversion, and then a conversion after your Zoom or presentation. You get good at that, boom. Now, if you get that, keep that in mind, you have to understand that there's a number of things I'm going to show you. Now, if you want to have this checklist, I'm going to actually just pop it into the chat box here. Go to the chat box, click that, and you can actually get a download for it straight away. So if you want to have that, all good to go. It's there. Just click it in there. It's just be a complete download so you can keep it. Okay. So just in the chat box, there's a link there to actually get your checklist. I'm going to go through it with you today. The whole process is having the right equipment, the resources, not just equipment, and the skills. Please make sure all three are in place. I'm going to show you some easy places to get the things that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. And every we talk about, Steve, why are we going to get, I don't want to spend a lot of money. Well, buy the good stuff that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg first, and then you don't have to go back. Don't get the cheap stuff. When you buy the cheap, really cheap stuff, you cry a million tears. Remember, you'll be disappointed if you cut corners here. But it's not going to cost you a fortune, so bear with me. Your online tools. You must have them, and you must prepare to know how to use them. And if you don't know how to use them, they're irrelevant. So the first thing is you have to have a good internet connection. If you're going to sell online, make sure it's not buffering. But how many times is that? Or it just goes, disappears. All of a sudden, oh, sorry. Good internet connection. people say that's fundamental. You know how many times I've seen an internet connection just absolutely destroy a presentation? The next thing is a computer. Don't try and sell online by just using your phone, which I saw the other day. If you want to take them for a walkie-talkie on FaceTime, that's fine. That's on FaceTime. Then come back onto the computer. Have a camera. Yes. Don't use your cam. Someone says, oh, my cam's really good. No, I'm going to show you why in a moment. And making sure that you have a mic and some lights and know where to put the lights. I mean, Mr. Brossman is a videographer of monumental status. He'll know all about this. So this is all repetition for him. You need to have the right type of audio. You know, audio, even if your visual is poor, if your audio is poor, your sales presentation is doomed. So I say, well, gee whiz, I'm a lot of doom and gloom here. Well, I'll show you how to fix it. I'm going to show you my recommendation of the things to get. The first thing is there's a couple of cameras that don't cost a bomb. This one is called a Logitech. A lot of Logitech stuff is good. This is here it is here. It's just a little portable you can take away, and it comes along with a nice little tripod, which I'll show you where to get. That's only about 160 bucks. It has a microphone, which I don't suggest you use, but it is a wide-angled lens, and it's crystal clear, much better than your cam. The one that on the other side is another Logitech. This is a PX, which I'll show you in a moment. This is actually quite useful. This is what I'm using right now. So what it does, it actually allows you to zoom in and zoom out. It allows you to move to the left and move to the right. And if I want to be smart and walk over there, it'll follow me and it'll take me to my whiteboard. So if I was going to do my whiteboard, I would just push a button. It would follow me to the whiteboard. And then when I'm ready to sit down, I push number 1 and it just puts me back in my chair and we're good to go. Now this costs around about $1,200 to $1,300. Well worthwhile. It's got high definition. It's a 1080p, and it actually has a 10 times zoom. I would highly recommend that. And you just put it above your camera, above your computer, we're good to go. But if you can't afford that, and I understand everyone's on a tight budget after the good old COVID, just go to the little Logitech, and it's really handy to have when you're on the road. But that's a little bit of a show and tell there. But let's go back and make sure we're clear on a few things. Some other essential stuff. If you are going to have any type of, let's say, a communication that's going to be by, let's say, standing there and doing things, you've got to have a tripod. Now, the best place is I'm going to show you where to get a tripod. And if you're going to use your mobile phone, please, if you're going to do any type of conversations or any type of videoing on your mobile phone, make sure that you buy a lapel mic. Now, these lapel mics are these ones here. I'm going to show you. This is just clips on here, go straight into your phone. And this one here, it has a little thing in the center here where it actually has a fuse. So it's a much higher definition. As I said, if your audio is poor, you're going to get crucified. You must have a mic. And there's lots of different types of mics. I'm going to show you the different types of mics. There's no good me showing you how to present if you don't have the tools. This is the ideal one that I use when I'm big presentations. It's called a Blue Yeti. It is quite big. Looks like a lollipop, doesn't it? The Blue Yeti is quite useful. It's got some really good handy things at the back to make sure your feedback's not poor. I'm currently using an Audio-Technica. This is it's my little favorite. It's just a little one. And this is very easily found at a place like J&B Hi-Fi. It's about a couple $100, 200 bucks or whatever, and it works terrific. Again, not expensive. Blue Yeti is a little bit more pricey. It's about, I think it's about 1,200 bucks. If I would start it out, I would use the Audio-Technica because I'm still using it. Next thing, get your lighting. Have your lights. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6 lights here. I've got a big one of these ones that's it's quite large. It's not one of those little tiny ones. And I'm going to show you where you can buy it. I also have these old school ones, and I've also have another one that I connect here. Why? Because your lighting is critical. Now, these are all very easily, you can buy the replacement bulbs actually at a place, at the same place you can buy these. I'm going to show you where you can buy it all. The place you can buy this stuff is Wish. It's an app, really inexpensive. It costs about 10 to 15 bucks for the postage. And then you're going to have a complete 4 lights with 4 bulbs in each of them, a full kit of 4 lights, costs you about 135 bucks. You get one of these for about 65 bucks for a good one. You can't buy these on Wish, okay? But you can buy your lapel mics on Wish, and you can buy your tripod around about $15. You can get the little lapel mics as cheap as $2 to $5, and they work quite well. Get the ones worth 20, I would suggest. So the equipment isn't difficult to buy. The Wish does take about a week or 2 to come along, so be careful that you might have it just may take a little bit of time. The bulbs are really cheap. I bought another 10 the other day. They're only $9.50 each. Try buying them here. They're about $25, $35 each. Okay. Anyway, this is just a very easy way to set up. Okay. So have your camera, pick a tripod. If you have to go on the phone, use a lapel mic, have a proper mic. Pop into J&B Hi-Fi, but you get one of the Audio Technicas or get a Blue Yeti. Get your lighting, make sure your lighting is behind you, not above you. I'm going to show you how to present it with shortly. And good old Wish is the place to go. Okay. So get your equipment organized and make sure we're ready. Once you actually know that your equipment's coming in, set it up and then play around with it. Remember, don't practice on your clients. Do I use a pop filter? No. What I do use is in the Zoom settings. In the Zoom settings, if you go to preferences, you go into the video. I do click high definition. I'll change it. Go to no high definition. There, it's changed. High definition. It changes. Also, I also go into under video. Click adjust to low light. That's just normal. Adjust to low light. Okay. You have the little thing there called touch up your appearance, takes out the lines. I've got it up at around about 5%. Okay. And yeah, so you click high definition, adjust for low light, and we're good to go. That would be, that's how it's a little bit brighter. And if you haven't got great lighting, it helps. But no, I don't have a pop filter. Okay. Okay. Before we go any further, is this helping a little bit to getting your head thinking about how we can start presenting online? Just give me a yes or a no, don't know, whatever. Is it helping a little bit? So I just want to get to see if we're on the right page here. I don't want to go and show you sales techniques and let's put the stuff. All right, terrific. Fantastic. Good. Thanks, guys. I'll stick around. Very good. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, I love you. Yeah, beautiful. I'll come again. YouTube. Oh my goodness gracious. I was scared, petrified 5 years ago for YouTube. Oh my goodness. Well, what you do need to do is to make sure that you need to have the ability to record things. You could use QuickTime, which on every computer. You can use your good old Zoom, where you can record things and then download it. It's not great definition, but it's okay. You do need to do this though, and you'll see why. So if you haven't got a YouTube account, Vimeo, if you're a business, they'll start stinging you for money. So YouTube's for free. All right. So open your YouTube account and make sure that you've got the ability to either use Zoom to do a recording or use your QuickTime. I'll show you some other stuff a little bit later. You'll need this. It's mandatory if you want to present online. You say, oh, what's that all about? Bear with me. Okay. The other thing, applications that I recommend that you have is either ScreenFlow or Camtasia. The reason is because I know how to use both. That's the only reason. I'm only showing you what I use. And if I could use it, I can guarantee you could use it and probably do it much better. The reason that I'm suggesting ScreenFlow is very good. I use a Mac. Camtasia is very Windows based. Okay. Now, why am I saying this? Someone said earlier in the trust and in your presentation, you've got to have proof of what you said is true. So having testimonial or case studies that are little snippets of people talking about you favorably about getting an outcome is really important. And how do we do that? You record it, you do a little bit of editing in Camtasia or in your, let's say, ScreenFlow, snippet, whack it on to your YouTube, and you can send the YouTube link to anybody and they can see it. You can connect your YouTube link to your PowerPoint in your presentation. And if you don't want to edit it, you just do a raw zoom, just download it, whack it into your YouTube. It's raw, and it'll still look fine. You need to start building up a bank of proofing tools. Please write that word down, proofing. How do you prove what you said is true to your prospective clients online? And the best way is via a short video. Testimonials can be written by anybody, can't they? So these are some tools. Again, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it because that's not for today. YouTube allows you for your testimonials, just upload them and make sure that you use just a little URL to send in your phone and just get it, the download of the app on your phone. Then you just cut and paste and send it to someone on the phone, a little testimonial. Hello, how you going? Just did a discovery call to Bob. Bob says, hey, I say, oh, look, let me tell you what Steve Brosman said about us. He's great. And also Nik, 30-second, 1 minute little, how do you do? And they give him a buzz, say, wow, that's amazing. Really easy to do by just copying it from your studio. For your success and proof stories. This is mandatory if you want to be successful when doing it online. So by going through these next models, I want to make sure that we're going to utilize, someone talked about building rapport. Perfect. How do you build rapport? Belly to belly. The way to build rapport belly to belly is usually the easiest things with a sincere compliment, finding something in common and having a conversation about it, a laugh, and also eye contact. But you have to match the eye contact, don't you? Soft eyes or hard eyes. One of the building of rapport is you watch their body language, like someone said. So if someone talks to you and does this, watch me now. If they talk to you and they talk like this, and they're all over the place and so forth, and then it'll come back to you. And then when you talk, you're just staring at them like, you know, the Jack the Ripper. They get scared. So you got to match how they talk a little bit too. However, online, you can't do that. Where are the eyes? Well, it's not down there with the 20 people that I could see. The eyes are here. That's the eyes. Learn to look at the camera and look at the person peripherally. Oh, yes. Don't take your eyes off the camera. Talk to the person. You can talk about this and come back to the eyes. Don't come back to the big problem. Poor rapport building skills is what we say. Mum and dad always said, give eye contact, didn't they? Oh, yes. But online, eye contact is looking at the person's eyes, because we'll look straight at them and we'll look like I'm now Clarence the Lion. I need to go back up to the eyes and actually build rapport, talk to you. And you can still do the commonality thing. You still do the stuff. You write stuff down. The eyes is your camera. So make sure that you utilize your camera to its best degree. That's where you talk to the person and they will see you looking at them. Even though you're not looking at them, you're looking at the camera. Now, next thing is, if you want to book online, one of the big problems is getting the person to show up, like someone said earlier. Perfect. You almost like you talked to me beforehand. So you want to make sure that you say, okay, I'm going to send you a few quick questions to make sure I'm going to give you great value. I can prepare for it effectively and give you everything you need. So I'm just going to send you a couple of quick questions so I can actually prepare something for you. So you have an action plan, whether we get started or not. So having the ability to send them some questions before you actually talk to them does make a difference. You can use your regular needs analysis if you want to. You can. But I would suggest when you booked your appointment, you can actually send them pre-qualification questions. The one big problem with presenting online is when people don't know how to use their technology. This is called on and off screen. I'll put the screen on, I'll show you some stuff, I'll come back on the screen and talk to the camera. Then I just go back onto share screen, go click the button, and we're back again. It's called on and off screen. We want to go chit chat, and then stop sharing. Talk to the people. Talk about what you have. Talk about answer questions if need be. So that process has to be learnt and get comfortable with it. Just looking peripheral at the little green button, clicking the button, go back onto the share, we're all good. So it allows you to go on and off screen. The process is easy to learn, but often forgotten. The next thing is, when you're asking people questions and they start talking, it's not like you're belly to belly. Nik and I are talking and then we just write some stuff down and you can see my hands and everything's good. If I stop looking at you, I'm going to say, Steve starts talking to me. I said, oh, I'm going to have to take some notes here. You go, and I'll go like this, watch. Steve starts telling me some good stuff and I'll go. And he's just now talking to my head. I'm not being rude. I'm just writing stuff down, but I'm now no eye contact. You're seeing head. The process we say, are you seeing head? Seeing head, you're not connecting. So if you are showing them head, showing this, look at this great bald patch coming in there, it ain't going to work. You got to say, Steve, Nik, Jane, let me just write a few things down. Okay, I'm just going to write this down. All right. Is that okay, Jane? Jane will say, yep, now it gives me permission. Come back. Terrific. If I'm going to refer to something, I'm just going to refer to this. This process is called permissioning. Permissioning. Getting permission. Right. If you want to set the work, I'm going to take some notes along the way, Joan. Okay. So as I'm going through this, I'm going to write a few things down. Okay. Terrific. So I'll tell her what I'm going to do and then I'll do it. I'm just saying, oh, I'm just going to write those notes down now. I keep talking. I'm listening. Get permission. People forget about it because they just do it belly to belly. Big problem. You there, Steve? Oh, yeah. I'm just writing the stuff. You lose them. Take it for granted. No one brings it up. And then when they do it, the person, you say, oh, people aren't that picky. Let me tell you right now, they are absolutely picky. Permissioning. I'm going to write something down. Please write that down. It's a big rock. And we're going to show you some tools to use. Now, all of you and some of you are sales trainers, which is terrific. You know, birds of a feather flock together. The number one motivator in human behavior is to avoid a discomfort, a pain, a worry, and have a compelling reason to buy. Wow. Once I've created enough rapport, getting commonality, having a laugh, and that should only take 2 to 3 minutes. There's a process called the process of 9, which expedites that, but it's not for today. We now need to go find out what is the reason that we're having this call. It is lots of different ways to qualify. Online, I think you've got to be really upfront and say, look, let me just be upfront. For us to work together, you need to have this much time. You've got to do this, do this. Do you have the time? Is this really important to you? It is terrific, so I can go forward. I know some people actually add more to that, but this is called qualification. By the way, please write this down. Qualification is about 80 to 90% of the decision-making process after you've built enough rapport. Gone are the days of massive rapport. You can't sell your car to your best friend. So the number one motivator is to avoid a pain and then move towards pleasure. Your journey on the Zoom has to do that. Now, you can send a notification on Google Docs. A lot of people using Google Docs these days. And you can say, hey, just fill out a few quick questions here. Just help us make sure I can prepare for you. And we'll just get on the Zoom in the next 10 minutes. Booked appointment on Zoom, send them to complete some information. So you're not going cold. Now, some people don't want to use Google Docs. There's other ways to do it. There's email me and all that sort of stuff. But it sends a qualification questionnaire to the person beforehand, so you're well informed. I do recommend you have something like that or have something ready to complete when you get online, okay? The new skill is to pre-fill in your needs analysis. So either have the form completed for you, and they're called diagnostics these days online, complete it, have it completely filled in. Build online rapport where maintaining the status quo, bring up things that you have in common and write them down. Maintain your eye contact, eliminate those processes and get permission. Permission-ing, not in a dictionary, straight out of Dr. J's book. Do your on and off screen and getting ready to talk about your needs analysis. I'm going to write some stuff down here because you might ask questions. You've got to write some stuff. Don't keep talking. Remember, when you are talking, you only learn what you already know. Questions to ask when they give you an answer is what, how questions. And that's it. What, how, what, how, what, how. That's it. Recap your compelling argument. That's a process we teach, and actually then use a process that we designed many years ago called inking. And by the way, please make sure you are perceived as an expert when you are talking about the solution. Teach them things that they don't know and create a success plan. Now, this is a process. The 4 W's is something that you need to have in either in your conversation on the phone and recapped belly to belly. Just quickly, and it's just silly for me to give you an acronym and not show you what it is. So I'm going to show you what it is. What's your number one priority, Bob? Now, when they do that, you've got to find out, they might have told you with a questionnaire, but you can say, out of all these problems you want fixed, what's the number one priority? Yep. Or they might have told you, out of all the things you told me, what's your priority? Ask the question, look in the camera. Oh, we're experts with that. Oh, I've been doing that for years. So we specialize in doing that. So I'm glad you called. I've got some things to show you. Now, once that's fixed, what's the second and third priority? Never, ever, ever ask for just number one priority. No, 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 no. You must ask for multiple solutions from the get-go, especially on Zoom. And then can say, all right, we can get that done too. So it becomes more of a reason to use your product or service and then come back to 1. This is called the what. Number 1, number 2, number 3, back to 1. Now, this has to be on your needs analysis. You don't have to remember this stuff. It's on your needs analysis. So you'd have it written or you'd have them already pre-completed it. Not a hard thing to do, but it's so often left out and gone over far too quickly. Gone are the days of finding out just a priority. Where's the problem? Where's it affecting them? Where's not having this fix affecting you? Let them talk. After they say, please write this down. Please write this down. Ask them, tell me more. And let them talk and say, I'm going to write a few things down. And once they've written it down on Zoom, I want you to then say, look, I'm just going to recap what you've just said. Give it back to them. Number 1, what, where, stop, recap what they've said. This is important. Please do these two things. It shortens your sales cycle. So why has this become an issue now and hasn't been before? Where's the roadblock? The why makes them buy. How long have you been feeling or this problem be going on for? And when did you need this fixed? This is a question you might want to write it down. Yeah, okay, well, we can certainly help you fix that. We've done it for many years, Steve. I mean, is this an hour or later thing that you want to fix those 2 or 3 major problems that's affecting you there? Is it an hour later thing? And be casual. Now, later. Oh, it's an hour thing. Okay, we can help you with that. Now, if you've had it pre-populated, you can actually, as you said, in your pre-population. So this actually shortens your sales cycle. What? Number 1, number 2, number 3, back to 1. You'd have a few boxes that they would tick, that you might send them something, or you could do it belly to belly. You could have a piece of paper that you don't send them anything. Now, I know not lots of you are saying, oh, God, I don't want to do that to Google Docs. Got a solution. Doesn't matter. Ask them a few quick questions, and before they come online, fill in what they told you on the phone, on your needs analysis that you use belly to belly. Tick, 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 right, and so forth. Okay, I've written a few things down here, Joanne, that we spoke about. I just want to recap them a little bit with you. Get permission. So write it on your own piece of paper. I know some people have gone a little bit further afield and just whacked it on a Word document and then shown the questions to the person online and answered them on share screen. No problem with that either. Now, the qualification is a big rock activity, and I can't teach you qualification today, but you need to have the tools. You can use your tools that you use currently, but just use your permissioning model. The first part is building rapport. The second part is finding out the past. The next part is to find compelling argument, compelling reason, the pain. And then you want to eliminate the objections. This all can be done on Zoom very, very easily. You pre-populate before they come in. They come and you tick the boxes, and then you ask them questions when they go through the model. This is something you need to learn, and maybe take a screenshot of this, guys, I would suggest. And you can do this quite quickly on Zoom once you've actually got to the crux of the number 1, number 2, number 3. This is a big rock. Please take note. Once you say, how good are you going to be feeling once you have the major objection problem fixed? What's the ramification? This is called positive, negative, positive. Okay, terrific. We can certainly do that. Are you going to be tongue in cheek, and just because you've got enough rapport, you can say, okay, and you're going to have your own version of this. On the flip side, Bob, or, let's just be a little bit of the, devil's advocate here, or whatever you'd like to say. What's going to happen if you did nothing and stay in the same position or condition as you are in now? What's the ramifications of that? Oh, it'll be a disaster. What does that mean? What do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. Well, look, don't worry. The good news is by using A, B, and C in our process and people, we'll be well on the way of fixing it. Are you looking forward to having that sorted? Yes. Well, let's make it happen. This is called putting the fuel into the decision. How good are you feeling when it's fixed? What's the flip side if you do nothing? And by the way, it's not about your price. It's about your value. Now, you're not asking for any money here. You're getting into qualification. If you don't do a good job on Zoom on this, you've got no reason to present your solution. 0. Now, once you've done this, the rest of it's a lot easier because it's 80% of the sale. Conversion occurs during your solution. Please write this down, please. This is important. People are inspired by the experience, confidence, and expertise that you show. I will ask every one of you people, because you're all experts in your field, show me how you're going to fix my problem. And you're going to show me what you've done in the past and your expertise and your special solutions and your USPs or your unique processes. And you're going to wow me. I say, wow. People buy from experts. People buy from people that do things a little bit differently. That shortens the process, makes it all done for me, and I don't have to worry. You've done this before. I can't wait. I need your help. Please write these words down. You want the person to say they want help to make some changes. So do you want some help to make these changes to fix this problem? The answer is yes. This is actually a pre-frame to giving you permission to present your solution. Get permission to say, help to make changes. Please write those words down. It is, again, please just trust me on it. I don't have all night to go through the modality, but it's a massive trigger of permission. Okay? All right. Okay. So now we've actually got to the stage where we're now going to create an experience. Someone said, how do you create experience before? It was perfect. Well, how do you create an experience online? Well, first we've got the things happening in the eyes. We've got the good voice. We've got good lighting. Now you created a good experience. Now, if you just got someone's bedroom in the back, or you're looking from up like this, or you're too high, or you're too close, I mean, that's a horrible experience. If I can't hear, and you got the internet going, it's all too hard. So we've created a bit of an experience by getting all this stuff sorted at the beginning, but let's put it into perspective. My recommendation, and this is a must do, and I would say it's a not negotiable standard. Please take note. When you have someone coming to present a service from you, you must preload all of your documentation. Your PowerPoint presentation needs to be preloaded. All of your forms, all of your URLs, all of your chat box clicks must be preloaded. Do not say, oh, let me find you something here, and then let me go over here and do this. If you need to tailor the PowerPoint or whatever it may be, do it before you come online. The biggest mistake is to be unprepared with not preloaded. So have your PowerPoint and your pictures and your videos preloaded. Okay. Again, some of you maybe say, I don't know how to use PowerPoint. Well, you'll need to learn, let's say, Google Slides, whatever. By the way, in Google Slides is a good place to go, because if you use Google Slides, you can actually preload your URLs into the Google Slides, because then you don't have to come off PowerPoint. Anyway. So PowerPoint for your explanation demonstration, Google Slides, and have your YouTube ready. Why? Because you're going to embed the URL into your Google Slides or into your PowerPoint. What are those things? Those testimonials. There could be a little video that just goes, beep, let me show you a video. And you can see the videos. You just fast track to the video that's appropriate to them. You've got some proof. You've got the video that says, let me show you this, pop, and on it goes. You've created an experience with photographs of good quality. Do not use photographs if you're presenting a product or service that have been bought from iStock. Get the photographs of your products or service which are yours. Put you in the picture, whether you like your photos or not. Now let's go through explanation, demonstration. I'm going to explain my solution, proof. Please write that word down, proof. Next thing is I'm going to demonstrate how it works. So you might have a walking, talking process, depends on the product or service. You're then going to have a solution. Your explanation, demonstration must be the solution to the problems that we uncovered in the 4 Ws. It must be. And you've got to say, remember we spoke about this before? Here's how we're going to fix it. And here's proof on what Jessica did, how we fixed her problem. Whoop, 30 seconds, 1 minute. The proof. Gone are the days of explanation, demonstration. It's old school and it's not coming back. If you're going to give an explanation of what you do, I want you to have proof 100% of the time that you can do it. Otherwise, it becomes hearsay, and we call it noise. Oh, there we go. Oh, we'll do this, and we'll do that, and we'll do this, and we'll do that. Yeah, really. Have you done it before? Oh, all the time. Show me. Well, I haven't got any proof. If you're a little bit of a cynic like me, I said, oh, well, that's good. Get back to me when you have. You can only move at the speed of trust. Make sure your explanation, demonstration has proof. So let's put this into perspective. Your tour, your explanation on how to make the changes to fix the pain. Remember that word, changes? And prove what you said is true is going to give you permission to close the sale. Oh yes, I believe this is the end of the sale. Got the rapport, we've had the eye contact, we've gone through the stuff. Yep, we've got the problem. We teach them a couple of little things, like a little bit of a teaser. Let me show you how we're going to fix the big rocks. Boom, your explanation and demonstration must be proof. Now, we call this milestoning. One of the reasons people don't buy your product, especially online, is they don't know what they need to do and what's going to happen. It's all like, okay, sounds like I know what's going to happen. So what you're going to do is, and please take note, tell them what's going to happen and ask if they're prepared to do it. Yeah. Are you prepared to show up? Are you prepared to do this? Are you going to take the photos? Whatever it is. And let me show you what we're going to do. So you put, this is the start, this is the second stage, third stage, fourth stage. And then you show them where they're going. And you might say, where would you like us to take you? I want to get to the end stage. Got it. Now you got permission. Or you might say, this is the whole box and dice. I want to show you what we're going to do. Touch, 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 touch. Are we good? Are you comfortable with that? See the word comfortable? That will turn them into green brain, not red. Are you comfortable with that? All right. Feeling a little bit more at ease. We'll fix that problem. And then you're going to say, let me show you a couple of people who had the same problem, went through this process to make sure that you know it's going to work. Here's Delilah. Oh, look, one more. This is John. How are you going? Comfortable with that? Let me show you how we're going to help you too. So have a milestone of their journey. Again, this is just a configuration, but I strongly, on screen, do not do auditory modalities. Just talk, 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 talk. Have a picture and get them to feel something. So in other words, they feel safe. The question has to be asked, what can you prove twice online? Not once, twice. Some people say, I'll do it once. Okay. Go for it. Might work, might not. Twice makes it much easier. Now, to wrap up my time with you, someone said to me earlier in the chat box, how to get the deal done, how to shake the hand. Well, I was one of our clients just the other day, had a $35,000 gig. And he told me he was going to go through the process. And I said, okay, let's talk about it. And he didn't call me beforehand just to make sure he had everything set up. And then the guy said, yeah, I'm going to definitely do it. And it was going to be, I'll send you this. And I said, if it doesn't happen in 3 days, I think it's a done deal. Not happening. Well, it didn't happen. He then rang me back. You got another one for 27K coming up. It's like a big rock activity. What do I do? I said, oh, well, you know what to do. Let's role play it. So we had a bit of a practice. And he used the process called the chat box close, which I'm going to show you how to do. The chat box close comes directly after you present your prices. Please write this down. Do not present more than 6 numbers in your price presentation. Okay? Make sure you don't talk your price presentation. Presenting on Zoom, they've got to see it and they've got to hear it. Okay? So there's millions of ways of presenting prices, but do not do an auditory close on Zoom. Oh, it's $7,000 for the first month, and then we go a little bit of a $600 a month. And there's auditory modality gone. Make sure they can see it, hear, and get confirmation. Please write that down. I'll just show you some quick examples of a price sequence. Many sales, even belly to belly now, are using tariffs. Why? Because it's easy to do and it's easy to teach other people. Test close all the time. Make sure that you ask anywhere between 11 plus test closes, and you'll increase your closing rate by up to 20%. It is, and by the way, on Zoom, it's beautiful. Have the test closes up on your up on the left-hand side so you can just read them. What's a test close? See if they'd use your product. By the way, a negative response to a test close is okay. Here's some examples of how to present your presentation. A very old school way, it's quite easy. You might have an alternate choice presentation. You'll have price at the top or a name. You might have a price down the bottom. You have a left and right, it'll be an alternate choice. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. No more than 6. Never present a saving in the same position as the purchase. Never, never, never. So they're called sequences. The tariff price presentation. This is one for the fitness industry. We say tariffs are easy to use. You just read it as you see it. Let me show how we can begin your journey. We call it our focus to be blah, blah, blah. We have a couple of ways to do it. One's called flexi. Don't call it a number which is red brain. Flexi. This just makes it easier and just a bit more flex for people that need a bit of flexibility, not in their legs. Then you just read what's here. And that's what the investment is. Now, alternatively, you have an arrow that goes to the right. That means the eye will go to the right-hand side. If the arrow is pointed to the right, the eye will go there. This is definitely our best value. Instantly, when you circle something online, they will look at the circle and now they forget the left-hand side. It's an automatic. They don't go back to the left. People buy to the right, it's about 80%. This is our focus, blah, blah, blah. You can do the flexi, but I'd recommend your focus is definitely our best value. And then you can have that peace of mind. Okay? Boop. So I've just followed the dots. There's lots of different ways. I've just had a quick look to make sure you're comfortable with it. Now, online, pick. What's it going to be? It's going to be prescriptive close. Now, a prescriptive close is when someone says, okay, from my expert opinion, this is what we need to do because you're the expert. Online, it works really, really well. So it's a recommendation close. After you've done your proofing with your timelines. Alternatively, an assumptive close. Look, Nick, this is the way you have to go. I'm not going to let you do the other way because that's going to be a waste of money and we won't be friends at the end. Come on, mate, well, let's do the damage. It doesn't always have to be the most expensive either. Or you could do the good old choice close. What one do you want to do? And by the way, never ask them what way do they want to pay. You want to make sure that you ask them, what type of person are you? Online, ask them, oh, we have 2 ways, not options. Take away the word options. What couple of ways we could help you make those changes? Here, there's a couple of ways we could help you make those changes. Okay, this is the first way. Name. That's the way it is, an investment. Alternatively, another name. So well, what sort of person are you? Name or name? Flexi or advanced? You're black and white. Are you Ching or Chang? Are you cheetah or lion? I'm a lion. Rah, let's do the damage. Don't say, what do you want to do? Pay a lot of money up front? Or do you want to save some savings and save $200 and get a Ferrari at the same time? Which one do you want to do? You'll save more now. Red brain close, old school, and it doesn't work online. You've got follow-up to do after that. Please hear me strong here. So again, it's just a Reader's Digest version today, but this is the big rock. Ask. Do nothing right, but ask online. Either use assumptive, prescriptive, or choice close. A lot of people don't even bother. I do like to use a recommendation close online. So get permission, confirm, and then ask. As I said, the last thing we're going to play with is called the chat box close, a link close, and a website close. Now, a lot of people have a bit of a problem I want to make sure that if you send a person a link, you're out of control. You've got to wait for them to click the button. So if you ever send them a link, please write this down. It's not written anywhere. Please, if you ever send a link, say, okay, Steve, I'm sending you the link. When today do you think you'll be able to click it and get it all sorted? I'll do it today. Okay, I'll give you a courtesy call tomorrow, which is Wednesday, just to confirm it's come through. What time should I call you? So you got permission to call. If you ever send a link, always say, when will you get it done? And when I'll call you back. Okay. But I believe the best thing to do is use the chat box close. What is it? It's click the link in the chat box, Bob. So once you present the price and they're good to go, say click the link in the chat box. They go and click the link in the chat box, share your screen, and all of a sudden, whoop, off it comes. Or you'll click the link in the chat, or you just click the URL and then you share your screen and complete the application for them. Now there's horses for courses. I've got people now put it into their slides. They click the link, go straight onto their website where they can type in the payments. It's all done. Guys, take control and make sure you do either click the link in a chat box so they do it, so they can click it all themselves. That there's a friction point, so it has to go on and off screen, or get to a point where you do it for them. It's completely your call. But we're finding is this has increased closing percentages significantly. It's quite significant. We've got 60, 70, 80% closing with chat box closes or getting them to complete it. I've got a friend of mine, it's one of their businesses that we work with, a 92% closing rate with using the URL chat box close. They used to only have about 50, 60% post-COVID. So by going online, it shortened their sales cycle. Okay, so that's the way that I would suggest you play with. Then say, okay, all you need to do, and I'll do that for you now. All you need to do now is click the link in the chat box. Okay, okay, that's the close. What sort of person are you? Oh, I'm a B person. Terrific. Well, I'll do that for you now. Just click the link in the chat box. Okay, that's your closing sequence. That's how easy it is. Most people bumble around. Oh, I'll send you a contract and so forth. No. Click the link in the chat box. Do it now. And they'll say, I'll do it later. Here, please write this down. If you they say do it later, or best do it now, say sometime later. So we learn by doing, ladies and gentlemen. And all we're going to have to get you to do is to say, pick some of the stuff that you need to do today. You've taken some notes, hopefully, and you'll actually be able to put that into practice. Now, I'm going to put a little link in the chat box. So here's a link in the chat box. If you would like to cover lots of stuff, and I told Nik I was going to give you lots of bits. If you'd like to go and have a bit of a review on what I've done, I said to Nik, because you've got only a small group, we'll do an implementation session for you, about 45 minutes to an hour. So here's a link in the chat box close. There we go. If you want to click that button, feel free to do that. Darren or I will actually help you do that. And we'll go through this stuff again for you, because there's a lot of stuff sometimes might begin to overwhelm. Okay, so grab a sales growth plan, click the button in the chat box if you want it. If not, grab that checklist, all good to go. And now Nik is going to give you the lucky winner for the Sales Authority Implementation Program. It's all done for you. It's got all of the workbooks, it's got your quizzes, and you'll go through from top to bottom, from planning right through to the close. Okay, so I'm going to hand it back over to Nik. And if you've got any questions, whack your questions in the chat box. Okay.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you very much, Steve. What I've got a whole notepad here full of notes here. I thought I knew everything, but I've just discovered a whole lot of things I didn't know.
Well, I'll send you the list too. It's pretty clear. Oh, good on you, Jane. Terrific. Look, I'm glad it helped. If you just got one or two things that you can put into practice, that'll make me happy. Okay. And if anyone wants a bit extra help, I'm here.
Awesome. Any questions here? Hello, Peter.
Steve, I see that Kevin's asked a question, and I'd like to get clarification too. Do you position the light behind you or in front of you or above you?
It goes behind. Try to avoid above, because then you get a downward. It's behind and on the, okay. Do not put it behind you here. You'll have a black face. It goes behind, and make sure the camera is at nose eye level. And so you're not looking at behind you. So behind the actual, behind the computer, behind the camera even. Yeah.
Right.
So in front of you, but behind the computer.
Yeah, that's where the confusion was. In front of you, but behind the computer.
My computer's right here. I've got a two-tiered computer desk. I've got the slightly behind. I've got one here to give me a little bit of color.
Right.
If I go down here, put it back up a bit, it's a bit more color. That's all.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions?
Steve, your experienced salesman, obviously shows magnificent session. Loved it. You've had to pivot, and I love that word because it's been common sort of for all of us at the moment. For you as an experienced salesman pivoting online, I know you probably covered it in a few parts, but what's been the biggest challenge for you? Is it about the tool set, but you've mastered that? Has it been the approach and you've mastered that? Has it been other aspects that you're probably still working on? What would be one or two of the biggest challenges you have to face and you've mastered?
Personally or with our clients?
Yourself, Steve, yourself.
Initially, I was very non-tech oriented. About 5 years ago, I just decided to go back to school and went through some digital marketing training and so forth. When we started to pivot online for the sales modality, I needed to know how the delivery would go and to make sure the experience was, we had the proof. People don't go, they don't put we found it was difficult to actually say, well, how can I have proof without just a whole series of words that could also be with the skeptic? So the proofing was the big deal, because that's why I had to do a little bit of work at the back end. The second thing, and I didn't mention it, I didn't want to overcook today, but when you get a telephone call and they say, help me, and you can do a little discovery call, and then go through and answer too many questions, and then say, oh, what you need to do is say, yes, we can answer that. We can ask a few quick questions. Say, look, are you next to a computer? Yes. Let's flip it on to the Zoom. And if we don't get them on to the Zoom swiftly, then someone said, did they turn up? So you've got to find out you're an expert on the phone call, because you initially get on the phone, and then you want to flip them onto the Zoom. So always make sure that they are perceiving you as an expert. The quicker you get them online, the better. But the biggest challenge by far was, once they've done all the talking belly to belly, usually is that people didn't have the visual auditory kinesthetic model. So they needed to go on and off screen. It looks easy, but it's a skill that needs to be learnt. Chat box closing is easy. It's just typing in a URL. But you've got to understand, you've got to connect with the human. And remember to ask the good questions before you do your presentation.
Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Con, mate.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, I'm sure that there are a whole lot more questions. So if you do have those questions, then I would recommend that you jump onto that link that's in the chat box and fill out the form. I'm having a look at it now. I'm going through it and filling it out myself. So I think I'll be there as well too, Steve. So go and fill that out. And
one-on-one, mate. So it'll be a one-on-one session. We just go through and just bring in your questions, and I'll send you a document you can complete where you can fill it out and take it away as well. So you'll have something to take away. Great.
Sounds good. Excellent. And we do have that door prize. So all of you that have hung around and you're here to the very end, we do have the door prize that Steve mentioned. Do you want to say anything more about it, Steve?
Look, the program is great but you've got to make sure that you do the quizzes. It's going to go through from your leadership point of view, some accountability. It'll teach you about the biology of the brain, because a lot of mistakes come back because everyone goes red. And then it's going to show you a little bit about those needs analysis in your explanation. Stop the videos, do the role play. And I'll just wrap it up. You only learn by doing, not by listening, not by reading. In sales, it's a living, breathing thing. So when I said stop the video in the training, stop the video, do the exercise. So, and then fill in the quizzes. And once we get your quiz back, you'll receive the certificate and we can have a celebration.
Excellent, excellent. All right, we have a special way to draw this. Anyone interested in winning that, by the way? Just put your hand up. Right, excellent, excellent. All right, can you see the wheel of names? Just give us a thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, I've got 3 screens going here, so it's all over the place. All right, so all of your names are now in this wheel of names, and we shall spin the wheel and see who our lucky winner is.
What's that?
And a round of applause, Julie.
Hey, Jules.
There you go. So, Julie, you are the lucky winner of that program. So, and how perfect is that, being that you're starting that, well, you're pivoting your business and changing what you're doing. So, couldn't have gone to a better person.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Julie. I'm really happy for you. I'm tickled pink. So,
I'm so happy. Thank you.
All right. So maybe, Julie, if you just drop your email to, or your details to, or maybe just drop it to Steve in chat. That okay, Steve?
yes, I'll copy the email. I'll put your phone number there. I'll get the girls to give you a call tomorrow, and I'll give you your passwords and give you a bit of a heads up
thank
on
you.
what needs to be done. And then we'll also after you've all got locked and loaded, I'll give you a call to see if there's any questions along the way, and if you need some help. Okay.
Okay, I'll need lots of help.
Excellent. All right. Well, if you just drop that message into Steve, just choose Steve's name down the bottom of the chat, and then you can just drop that straight to him. So, so thanks, Steve, for giving up your evening. I know it's an hour later where you are than where we are here, and it's been a very valuable night. So let's give him Steve a big round of virtual applause.
Thank you.
Awesome. And so for those that want to catch up on this again, there was a lot of information in this, and I'm sure that you know, running over it again, you'll pick up all the things you missed. It will be up on YouTube tomorrow afternoon. So probably around sort of 4 or 5 o'clock by the time we get it edited and up there. The best way to get it is the YouTube link is in the chat box now. So just click on the YouTube link and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, just go and subscribe to the Smash Go YouTube channel. And when you hit the subscribe button, there's a little bell beside it. If you click that bell, then as soon as that video is uploaded, then you'll receive a notification on your computer that it's there and waiting for you. So that's it for this evening. Next week, we will be here at the same time on Tuesday night, same time for our next session. Keep an eye on social media and your email, and we'll announce who the speaker is then. If you don't care who the speaker is and you're just going to come along anyway because you enjoy it, the link is in the chat box. So just click on that link there. You can register now, and you're all ready, and you'll get the reminder before we go to air same time next week. So once again, thank you, Steve, for your time and for sharing with us tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming along, and hopefully you got a lot of value out of that. I know that I did, and look forward to seeing you all again. So go and have a great night.